Hello and welcome to Asia Gaming Brief's face-to-face series. Today I'm talking with Ken Jolly, who is the Vice President and Managing Director for Asia for Light and Wonder, which was formerly Scientific Games. We're going to be talking about the company's rebranding, the prospects in Macau and wider Asian region, and what they are seeing in terms of customer preferences. So welcome, Ken. Thank you very much for joining us today. As we can see from your wonderful background, Scientific Games has just rebranded as Light and Wonder. Can you give us a little bit of an update as to what the thinking was? What's the branding?
Yeah, look, Light and Wonder, we're excited to be called that and be doing business as Light and Wonder. It's obviously a bit of a transformation for our company. We've sold off the lottery business and we're going to focus now on great games and content, and it's a defining moment for the company. It's where now that we've got an opportunity to come up with a name that really projects where we want to be, and that really is a leading global cross-gaming platform provider. So in other words, be able to put content onto multiple platforms and verticals going forward. And it was time, as I said, we needed a new name, and to give an inspirational name that was something that I think predicts or gives a direction of who we want to be. There was a process that put in place. We brought in companies to give us some ideas on different names. I think there were some 2,700 odd names selected, in a process where senior executives and shareholders and that in the company came together to select the name, and here we are, Light and Wonder, and looking forward to the future and excited about it. And it's something that's being accepted very well by our staff as well.
Excellent. So obviously you're moving forward as an omni-channel company now. Asia is perhaps a little more limited than elsewhere in this regard. How do you see this evolving in Asia?
Certainly, as a company, it's at this stage, we're reviewing our options with, how some of this will unfold in the different verticals. From the land-based side, it's business as usual and moving forward. But certainly, we with the other parts of the business, as far as digital and those types of things, we've been focused in other markets to date, but we're certainly looking to go to that now across the whole company.
Do you have social gaming at Light and Wonder?
Yes, they do. But again, that's another area that will expand as these platforms, as we further develop into this, multiple channels.
Obviously, in Macau, you just had the first game, I believe, certified under the 2.0 regulations. How much of a challenge was that?
Certainly, whenever a regulation changes, there's work to be done. The first thing was when the document came out, that the changes they were requiring at the DICJ, we obviously had to evaluate what that meant. And some were fairly straightforward, just software related. Some we had to then look at the platforms themselves, to see if the horsepower was there to actually drive the changes. For instance, one of them was we now have to have RNGs that are cryptographic RNGs, and that takes a lot more horsepower than, say, some of the older models had. For instance, the older Equinox and the Wave cabinets couldn't handle that. So they obviously will have to come out of the market at some stage. But other things like putting the clock on there, yes, it's a software thing. It took a bit of time. And whilst we do that in other markets, in this market, they wanted it to flash. So we needed to get that done. And some of the other changes are more in the metering and different things like that, which again, more software. But of course, like anything, it's got to be developed. So you've got to go off to the testing, or be tested internally, go off to the testing agency, then come back and get approved by the DICJ to be released. So it's not simple. There's work to be done.
So you just mentioned as well, some of those cabinets aren't going to be able to be converted. Is that actually an opportunity for suppliers like yourselves in the market? As machines get taken off the floor, you get a chance to get in there or not?
Very good question, Sharon. At the moment, you've got to consider there's a lot of machines in Macau turned off. It started at the beginning of COVID, and obviously for social distancing. But again, with the low numbers of visitation to the market, we're finding also that operators aren't needing those machines. So what's going to be interesting is between now and the end of 2024, when this has got to be upgraded, or everything's going to be upgraded to a V2 version. It's just how much the visitation may be coming back by then, and what the requirement is for the number of units on each of the floors.
Right. Yeah. So you are actually in Macau. What are you seeing on the ground there?
Very low numbers in casinos at the moment. Look, it does fluctuate a bit. I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere over the whole COVID time. It's nowhere near back to 2019, of course, but it depends a little bit on the visitation from China, because that's really the only place that players can come from. And what we're seeing at the moment is a number of hotspots in China, and obviously that is deterring players from coming over here. So the last couple of weeks, it's been very, very quiet here in Macau because those COVID hotspots are increasing. But hopefully, as China gets a bit better hold on that and visitation goes up, it'll improve. But I think we're going to be some time before we see back to some sort of number getting closer to where we were previously.
Are you seeing any changes in those preferences from those players who are coming in? Noticed anything that they're doing differently?
There's certainly in one of the areas, there's a bit of a move from live tables to ETGs, particularly on the standalone ETGs. Of course, there's no junket play as such. That's all gone, and very little in the premium mass. So there's a lot more. It's mass. The casinos over on, say, the Macau Peninsula side get the local visitation more so than the Cotai side. There are some days, on the Cotai side where it's very poor visitation.
You mentioned those ETGs. Why are they proving so popular?
It's a good question. Well, in the last, previously in ETG space, the stadiums were very popular, and that's we got the multiple games and the terminals all connected together. That seems to be a little slower these days, and some of the companies have brought out, as we have as well, a standalone terminal. So it's a bit like a slot machine, but it's an ETG game, and I think there's a move to that, which so it's a bit more personal than before.
So if I asked you to put your stargazing hat on, look into your crystal ball, when do you see Macau recovering? Do you see any chance of, or will it recover to 2019 levels? Perhaps more the question.
I'm not so sure we'll ever see 2019 numbers again. Just the different structures and the different things that are now will restrict the operators as far as junkets and the way they have to guarantee basically the money out to players and the different things that are being introduced from the government going forward. But certainly, I mean, there'll come a time when we go post-COVID, things will pick back up. To what level remains to be seen. A market will be very much different than it was before. The junkets played such a big role before, where obviously going forward that'll become a more mass market and premium market area.
So let's leave Macau alone then. Elsewhere in Asia, where do you see the most potential for recovery?
Well, the good thing is in a lot of other countries across Asia, and particularly Philippines, Singapore, they've been strong. Philippines dropped back at times when there was hard lockdowns in Manila, but of course, they've tried to open it. They've gone to at times 25% of floors, 50% of floors, 75s are now open. Certainly, the Philippines is coming back quite strongly now, and it looks like it'll be strong for the rest of this year and into next year. Singapore has been fairly strong all the way through it. Indochina typically has been a little slow, and those countries are coming out of lockdowns now and allowing travel and flights back in there. So I think we'll start to see them grow, but they've been hurt so badly over the last 2 years that it will take a little bit of time.
Do you think any of the markets will get back to 2019 levels this year?
Another crystal ball. Very good, Sharon.
I'm sorry about that. I like my crystal ball. Yeah.
Really got me on the pump here. I don't think we'll see a full recovery just yet. I think, COVID, like Asia was the first area probably in the world that really got hit with COVID, and a lot of questions about where it all started, and probably going to be the last region to come out of COVID. But certainly as the rest of the world has come out or is coming out and showing signs of living with COVID, as Asia, different parts of Asia is doing that now, and I'm sure the rest of Asia will follow. And as that happens, we'll start to see much better times.
All right. We talked about ETGs and how they're popular. Have you seen any other sort of changes in player preferences, perhaps elsewhere in Asia over the last 2 years, or has it been just too quiet to tell?
No. I mean, what was popular before in the gaming space is, particularly in the slot area, large jackpots in the Philippines, linking up with good product across other markets in Asia. Will still be the same, has been the same through COVID or in this period, and will be the same going forward.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your observations across the markets or SG's transformation to Light and Wonder?
From a company perspective, when it came to the version 2 software in Macau, we knew that customers were going to want to only do it once and not continue to put in new games that were of the old standard. Hence the reason we moved quickly to start putting games out. We do have other products in the market, such as Dualis and Dualis X, and we do have conversion games coming through for those in the popular Dofu Dokai series and also the Jinji Baoshi series that will have V2 software. And I'm expecting the first couple of those games actually in the next month. So next month to 6 weeks. So we want to stay ahead of the game. We've put down a strong roadmap, because what we've seen in other markets is that as they go post-COVID, start to live with COVID, the markets return quite strongly. So we believe that'll be the same in Asia. So we want to make sure that we're ready with a good game range, not only for the V2s in Macau, but for outside of Macau as well. So a lot of work's been done in that area, and I think customers will be very impressed when they see our range as we unfold into the end of this year and also into 2023.
Is there any space for you? I mean, obviously the Philippines now has a regulated online market. Is there any space for you to bring in any of your other product lines in there?
Yeah, like one of the PIGOs is already using our cashless system. Quite a few of the machines that have gone into some of those PIGOs, because you've actually got to have a machine in that offside area or off main floor area to operate the PIGO. Quite a few of the machines have been the popular machines from the main floor, which of course have been Jinji Baoshis or Dofu Dokai. So we've had some top-up orders for the main floor because of that happening as well. So I guess, those products like systems and, machine replacements have certainly been good from the PIGO point of view. So we'll just have to, and I know you had a session on PIGOs recently.
Yeah.
And I think there's still some opportunities in that area for growth. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of years with that as well, particularly when that then has to compete against, people coming back into the casino, which we're seeing now in the Philippines.
Thanks very much, Ken. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you for having me. It's been very good. So appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. Please join us every Friday for Asia Gaming Brief's face-to-face series with thought leaders in Asia's gaming industry.